What's up, lads and ladettes? How are we all doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastically well. So on today's little old hunt, we're going to be doing a 50 PED Nusul Hunt here on Arcadia. Now, we do have our armor fully repaired, so we'll be able to check decay. We're using a daily weapon, so I don't give a fuck. I just don't give a fuck on that one. And yeah, we're hopefully going to get some good stuff. Now, in this little hunt, I just wanted to talk about like efficiency. Because, you know, I like to have a little bit of a conversation in all of these hunts, but sometimes it's just rambling. Today, though, I want to talk about efficiency because it is confusing, to say the least. It is very confusing. So, in the previous video, I said that like efficiency contributes to your overall loot composition, but it doesn't contribute to your total TT value of a kill. Now, one of you guys, Juan IBC or Juanibek or Juanbek, don't know, said that it does, and that efficiency doesn't. It's deep damage per pack. Efficiency is damage per pack and damage per second. That's what determines efficiency. So efficiency does determine your loot composition because efficiency is based on your damage per pack and damage per second. Two different things, by the way. Damage per pack is the amount of damage you do per pull. Damage per second is basically the amount of times you can pull in a minute. So it calculates both. Because if you're able to kill a mob, like if you've got two guns, right, with the exact same damage per pack. So, you know, the decay of the weapon and the ammo cost and all that sort of stuff. If you were to grab two weapons with the exact same damage per pack, but one can shoot faster, the one that shoots faster will have a higher efficiency, as far as I'm aware. Now, I will preface at the start. Remember, whenever I say something, take it with a grain of salt. You do that with everyone that plays this game. I don't give a fuck how long they've been playing the game for. I don't care what they do IRL. I don't care if they're like the best stockbroker or they're a doctor with like 50 million PhDs or, you know, I don't give a shit, okay? I straight up don't care. This is a game that is mostly based on RNG. You cannot calculate random. That is the whole point to random. You cannot calculate random. What you can do, however, is potentially predict random, right? And give you an increased odds. But this is where efficiency confuses me, right? Well, it doesn't confuse me so much. It's just interesting. So, he said that, and I remembered it, like when I was talking to Juanibek or Juan IBC, I don't know. When I was chatting to him, I said, no, it doesn't. Like, not from what I've seen and from what I've experienced, it doesn't. But then I said, you know, I remembered two different sections, okay? I remembered two different sections. See, you got a couple of dev notes that say different things. And this is where it gets confusing. So, dev note 12, which is what I looked through, and before he responded to me, saying, dude, it says this in the dev note, I actually went back and I'm like, hold on, it's up to me to, like, prove what I'm saying. Even if it's just an opinion or a thought that I've got, it's up to me to prove it, not someone else to prove me wrong. That's how I always like to roll. I like to roll, I prove myself. You know, other people don't have to prove me wrong. It's up to me to prove myself, okay? So I went back and looked. And it says, the efficiency parameter is a relatively small component in loot calculations, no more than 7% of total loot value. Now, off of that alone, you might look at that and think, interesting. So, if I was to use a low efficiency weapon to kill a mob, I would get less TT value than a high efficiency weapon. But if we have a look at Dev Note 14, I'm going to leave these in the description as well. If we have a look at Dev Note 14, when it's in its reference to effects of critical hits dash damage on loot. Okay. Damage on loot. Finally, we have noticed several misconceptions in recent community discussions. Now, I believe these are misconceptions based on poor wording by dev notes, or not being not giving as much information as they should. No negative on Mindark or anything like that. These things slip through the cracks and all that sort of shit. But it's still one of those things. But anyway, finally we have noticed several misconceptions in recent community discussions regarding critical hits that we would like to clarify. Because the way efficiency works, you see, ladies and gentlemen, is if you kill a mob for less, then you're more efficient in killing that mob. Okay? That's how it works. You're able to kill that mob for less PED or PEC, therefore you are more efficient than someone who is doing it for more. That's how it works. Critical hits do not have a direct impact on loot value calculations per se. Now, whenever someone says per se, it means they don't know. When someone says, oh, per se, it's more, well, we're not 100% sure because we base all this on big calculations, so we cannot say for definite. So, does not have direct impact on loot calculation per se. Since loot is now based on the actual cost to kill a creature in loot 2.0, basically, if you spend 1 PED killing a mob and they give you back 100% of what you put in, you're going to get back 1 PED. Those big globals and HOFs, it's basically a mob has been calculated to say, once killed, because when a mob spawns, it will spawn with a random, just a fucking random ass parameter on it that basically says, upon death, award X percentage of PED spent to kill back to player that killed. Right? That's essentially what it does. So, killing a mob... I'll continue reading first. Since loot is now based on the actual cost to kill a creature in loot 2.0, dealing more damage via critical hits, or by having higher damage per peck, does result in smaller loot events. Not higher, smaller loot events. Which makes sense, because you're spending less to kill a mob. Does result in smaller loot events for a given creature, but this effect is directly proportional to the lower cost to kill, obviously, and allows more creatures to be killed, i.e. more loot events. And this is where I think the 7% comes into play. For a given amount of PED spent, right? Also, the composition of loot improves in such cases and results in a lower proportion of shrapnel in loot. In other words, the use of items or consumables that provide increased critical hit chance or critical damage can never have a negative effect on loot returns. So, it will not have a negative effect, right? But you're not going to be getting more TT loot. You're going to be getting the TT loot proportional to what you're spending. Now, this is where I think the 7% comes into play. So, if you're able to kill more mobs for less, right? Let's say over... Okay, rough ballpark. Let's say over the space of 1,000 PED, you're able to kill, 800 mobs, right? With a lower efficiency weapon. Like an efficiency weapon around the 50, 55. Let's say for 1,000 PED, you're able to kill 800 mobs of a specific mob. Hey, that was a nice loot. Talk about loot and you'll get loot. So, but then you get a weapon that has a higher efficiency and you kill the exact same mob, right? You hunt the exact same mob and you use the exact same 1,000 PED to hunt, right? The exact same 1,000 PED to hunt. you will, and like, you could kill more mobs. You know, you might end up killing 1,000 mobs instead of 800 mobs. For the exact same cost, you're killing more mobs, which gives you an extra 200 chances. Now, these are all just rough ideas, estimate. These are just hypothetical situations, nothing that I've tested. But due to probability, you have a higher chance of getting a higher percentage loot, like higher percentage loot return, killing 1,000 mobs for 1,000 PED than you would killing 800 mobs for 1,000 PED. So where I think the 7% return comes from is them grabbing, you know, lots of players, looking at all of them using their different efficient weapons, right? Some using like LRs that are like in the 60% range, and then people using like mayhem weapons or those big expensive, you know, like second mortgage on your house weapon that you can get off the auction house, you know, that has efficiency of like 90%, you know, 95%, you know, mayhem weapons, right? Like high efficiency mayhem weapons. Looking at people that use that, and then looking at the cost. You know, getting people, grabbing their, like, that are of similar TT costs, right? Then looking at the amount of loot that they got back. And just due to probability, having higher kills for the same amount of PED as someone else will give you a far higher chance to get a higher percentage loot in return. So loot can be so confusing, right? Loot can be horribly confusing sometimes. Like, horribly confusing. And it's really confusing. So if I was to think about the like loot composition and like the TT return, obviously, you will want better loot composition. You want less shrapnel, okay? Less shrapnel means more of this stuff, which means more of this stuff, right? That's what that means. The more you're able to reduce the amount of shrapnel you're getting, the more you'll be able to increase your chances of getting higher markup loots. That's how you profit in the long run. That's how you profit. You want to get higher markup loots. You want to get loots with markup, right? You want to get loot with good markup to then sell in the auction house to get your return for your hunt. But here's the thing, and this is sort of the skinny of it, right? This is the big skinny. You need to be cycling thousands of PED, like 50, 100,000 PED. You need to be cycling this PED, and you know, getting, you know, in order to get the higher markup loot. And this is the problem that a lot of people will see in their time playing the game, because not everyone will be able to cycle that much PED. So they might not see the benefits of having a high... Really? They might not see the benefits of having a higher efficiency weapon. You know? Because think about it this way. Let's say you can only deposit like... Okay, let's say you're the sort of person who can only deposit $5 a week. So 50 PED. Right? 50 PED. Once you have... Like, if you want to profit in the long run, you need to save all of the loot that you get back. You don't want to TT anything, right? Obviously, there will be certain things that are TT food, but you don't want to TT anything, right? Because you want to sell that all for markup. You want to sell it all for markup so you can get a return. There's no way someone that is only able to deposit $5 a week will ever see one of those higher like higher efficiency weapons. So the difference between, say, spending markup to get a higher efficiency weapon, like a higher LR or a higher BC, all that sort of stuff, it seems almost redundant when you could buy one gun that you're not efficient in, that is, that all you need to do is you just need to repair it a little bit, go out and do your hunt, then you come back and TT most of your stuff, say maybe one or two things that have really high markup that you'll need like stacks of a shitload to sell that you might sell 2 years from now. So the whole efficiency thing becomes a matter of, okay, well, what's more important, playtime or efficiency? And then people said, there will be someone in the comments saying right now, it's like, oh, but over 10 years of playing, or over 5 years of playing, 50 PED a week, like over the space of a year, that's going to be like, actually, fuck, what would $5 a week be? One sec. Using a calculator like an absolute beta. So 50 times 52, that's, times 52 weeks in a year. That's like 2,600 PED. So, 2,600 PED, yeah, over 5 years you could get, you can get like 10,000 PED by depositing 5 PED a week and, just being smart with your money. But I don't think people will have the patience for it. I honestly don't think people will have the patience to do it. Speaking of money, let's have a looky-loo. Well, we've already profited. That's for damn sure. We came in with 50, coming out with 77.41. Let's have a look at our repair, which will probably be fuck and all. 43. So we profited about 27 PED in today's hunting, which is good for me. I'm going to be doing some swanting for the rest of the day. I'm going to be swanting some Carabox, hopefully getting some tier 1 components, get some sweat. Things are going to be good. But yeah, like, efficiency is confusing, man. Like, efficiency is it's simple but confusing. Like, I get it, but I don't get it. Okay? Like, I get it, but I don't get it. And I'm sure there's going to be somewhere, like, someone in the comments is going to write me a big essay on how it all works. And I actually implore you, if you can write down how it all works, I will pin that comment for everyone to see. If you write an essay or even have a video or something that explains 100% how it works, I will pin it, I will reference it, I will send people there. But for now, I'm just a confused boy who gets it, but at the same time doesn't get it just because of how ambiguous it is, I want to say. Is that the right word, ambiguous? Just how not clear it is. Does efficiency affect the TT of any one given mob? Does it not? I mean, yeah, you're getting less TT because you're spending less, but you're getting it proportional. You're getting percentage back. You're getting it proportional. But does your efficiency affect the loot that you are getting back? Like, how does it work? They're not going to tell us, but how does it work? I get it, but I don't get it, because it's a lot of slight contradictory. It's not quite contradictory, but it's contradictory enough for me to go, I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there for today. Hope you all I hope you all enjoyed it for starters. You might have noticed that I've only just been doing Entropia for now. I'm basically just recording whenever I want to record, and I'm recording whatever I want to record. I'm going to be doing some a review of a game this week as well that I think you guys should play, called Archvale. It's really cool. And I'm also going to be looking into this NFT game that looks really fun called Lost Relic. You guys know me, I'm a big ARPG fan, and like this apparently has, it's connected to the Ethereum. Like, it's connected to Ethereum, and you can actually get loot in-game that is connected to Ethereum. But you don't need to necessarily spend Ethereum getting the loot, because you can get gold in the game to then get loot that you could sell for Ethereum, like blockchain stuff, because it has an intrinsic value on the weapon, which is, or the item itself, which I think is such a good concept. Because I'm going to do an entire video just talking about my thoughts on this, but you think about it, right? How many people have played an MMORPG, have gotten a super rare weapon that everyone wants? Demand automatically gives it some kind of intrinsic value. But because gold in a game is like, how difficult is the gold to get? Well, these days, if you know a grinding spot, it doesn't take anything. Therefore, it's like, well, it's worth a lot to people, but it's just not worth selling, because I can easily get that gold in game for nothing. But something like Ethereum, having two systems where you have the gold in game that you can use to buy equipment that does not have an intrinsic value, right? Is not connected, is not an NFT, does not have an intrinsic value to it, that you can then use to grind up the game, find super rare items that do have an intrinsic value. I don't know, I just think that's really neat. Anyway, I'm going to be leaving it there for today, guys. I just want to see. Oh, cool. I just wanted to test this because... Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm going to do so much with this. Does it stay after I let go? It does. And then I press V. Oh, and it goes back. Okay, I'm going to have so much fun with this. I'm going to have so much fun with that. Whoever told me that I can do that, was it Lion? Who was it that told me that I can do that? Yeah, my nickname is Lion. You fucking legend. You have no idea what I'm going to be doing with that. It's amazing. Anyway, you all take care. And yeah, like I said, if you want to write up an essay on how it all works, fucking do it, dude, and I'll pin it so everyone could see it. Yeah, because I'm confused. I'll happily say that, yeah, efficiency confuses me sometimes. Most of the time, actually. I understand, killing a mob for less is important. But, it's kind of ambiguous on how the efficiency plays into the loot return of any given one mob, because of how they word it. So I have no idea. Anyway, you all take care, you stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.